Hello everyone, today's session is all about mobility and stability, and as we understand the present condition, it demands us to stay at home, and exercise, especially the mobility, will play a very important role in our activities of daily living. So the exercises would be extremely challenging, and it would not only educate you but also it would help you practice it in your daily lifestyle. So the duration would be for 30 minutes. That would involve warm-up, the main workout and the cool-down. Here we start with the workout. The exercises that we need to start with is the spinal mobility, where you need to lie down on your back, pull one knee closer to your chest, pull one knee closer to your chest and then extend, pull one knee closer to your chest and then extend. So we do this exercise 5 repetitions each side. Next exercise would be keeping your arms wide open, into raise a leg and then take it across and back. Raise your leg and take it across and back. Again we follow the same 5 repetitions each side. Remember that you have to raise your leg first and then take it across. And as you do this exercise, your shoulders should not come off. It has to remain down, touching the floor. Next exercise would be to work a little on your hamstrings, where you need to extend your knee and bend. You do this 10 times. Make sure the other leg is pushed down to the ground. So the normal length of the hamstring is here. It needs to be straight, in line. Okay, so try to get that range. Lie down on your belly. Arms again wide open, leg across. Again, in this exercise, try to keep your shoulders down, touching the floor, and then take your leg across. You raise your leg up, then take it across. Raise your leg up, then take it across. Again, we follow the same 5 repetitions each side. You go 4-point, place your palm under the shoulder, your knee under the hip, and we do cat and camel. First, you arch your back, then your upper back, and then the neck. Then the neck goes down, then the upper back, then the lower back. Next exercise would be thoracic rotation. In the same position, take your arm down and then rotate your trunk. And change other side. Arm down and then rotate your trunk. Down. Down. Again, we do this 5 repetitions each side. The 6th one would be child pose and cobra, where you outstretch your arms as much as possible, stretching your low back. Feel the stretch in your low back. Then go forward, lie down on your belly, and stretch your abdomen. Come up again. Sit on your heel, outstretch your arms as much as possible. Forward, lie down on your belly. Stretch your abdominal. You do this 5 times. These exercises would help you on a spinal mobility. Then we move on to the hip. The exercise would involve sitting where you bend your knee and you hip 90-90. Then you take your knee, rotate your hip externally and internally on both the sides. As you do this, you'll feel a stretch in your hips. Try to push your knee down as much as possible. As you try to internally rotate, the other leg externally rotates. Try to feel a stretch, the capsular stretch in your hip. Again, we do this 5 times each side. The other hip mobility technique is to keep your heel in line and outreach forward. Change. Forward. Try to compare your right with your left all the time. Again, we do this 5 times each side. Always analyze, be very mindful when you do the exercises. Always compare your right with your left, because the movement that we do in a daily lifestyle is all about taking one step at a time. It always targets single chain. So these 2 exercises are for the hip. We quickly move to the shoulder mobility, where you need to place your shoulder closer to the wall. Make sure the entire arm is touching the wall. The back of the palm would be touching the wall. Raise it up as much as possible. As you reach high above your head, your palm would be touching the wall, and then take it across. Back again. Back of the palm as you reach overhead, and then back. Now the important point here to keep in mind is, as you raise your arm up and take it behind, your body should not turn the other way, like this. So it's important to maintain it in neutral position. Keep your palm, your wrist, elbow and your shoulder completely straight. Don't compromise by bending your elbow like this. Keep it straight all the time throughout the movement. Keep the other arm behind as well, just to make sure your upper body is stable as you do the rotation. If you feel extreme tightness and you're not able to take it behind, what you can do is go a little apart. Okay? Maintain some distance between the wall and where you stand. Then you can place your back of the palm, take it above your head, and then take it down. As you get as you increase the repetition, you would see that the mobility is getting better, and you can slowly go closer to the wall and then repeat the same movement. We again do this exercise 5 times each side. So this was all about the mobility. The most important mobility is the ankle right now. So what we would do is, we would be pushing our knee forward ahead of the ankle and try to push it down as much as possible. Push it down as much as possible without raising the heel up. We have to make sure that the entire foot is touching the floor and then go forward.
then go forward, and then go forward, and then go forward. So basically, the shin and the ankle is coming together. The shin and the ankle is coming together. The shin and the ankle is coming together. We do this 5 times each side. So we have worked on the spine, your shoulders, your hip and your ankle. We are done with the mobility. Now we would start with the exercises. Let's start with the core activation. Try to understand more about core, and it's very important because core is a very important muscle and it's right there in the middle, and we consider it as the powerhouse of the body. The reason why it's in the middle to transmit forces to your upper body as well as to your lower body, but we need to first understand how to utilize our core. Okay? When we talk about core, I talk about the deep muscle, which is the transverse abdominis. So in order to palpate the transverse abdominis, you need to place both the fingers closer to the bony prominence of your pelvis, which is called the anterior superior iliac spine. And then when you cough, you can actually feel the muscle pushing your fingers. So that's the muscle which you need to activate. So what you can do is bend both the knee, place your palm under your back and try to fill up the gap. So once you place your palm, you would understand that there's a gap. You try to fill up the gap. When you fill up the gap, you would see that you are able to activate the core. The muscle will get engaged. The muscle will get engaged. So keep your palm and try to squeeze and hold the palm. And as you try to pull, you won't be able to take it out because of the activation, and your pelvis is in neutral position. That's how you activate your core. And at the same time, you have to breathe. Most of the time what we do, we try to exert a lot of pressure on your abdominal content and try to bloat. What we would do is rather suck in your belly and try to create a squeeze, a tension in your core, in your abdominal region. And as you're able to do this with breathing, we do heel taps. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And once we're able to do this, the progression of this would be dead bug. Squeeze, feel your core, start extending. Start with your legs higher, and as you progress, you can take it lower. The lower you take your leg down, the more challenging it becomes. Remember, in this exercise, it's important to feel your core, your abdominal region, not your back. This exercise is extremely important for people with back pain. So again, we do this 5 times each side. As you're good in this, we include the arm as well. Alternate arm and leg raise. Again, we do this 5 times each side. Try to suck in your belly. Coordinate your arm with your leg. This was all about stepwise core activation. The other exercise is 4-point. Your palm is placed right under the shoulder, your knee, right under the hip, your head neutral, your upper back neutral, your pelvis neutral. And then you take your knees off and try to hold this position. Count of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and down. Again up, hold, feel your core. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and down. Remember, in this exercise, you have to make sure that your body is right in the middle. The force, the pressure, the stress is right in the middle. You're not supposed to move your body forward onto your arms or behind onto your legs. The center of gravity passes right in the middle, so the core would be activated all the time. This is the most responsible part. So now, as you get the hang of this exercise, we would include alternate arm movements. Up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then, as you're able to do this, we'll include our legs right now. Extension of the legs. That position, 1, 2. Make sure your pelvis is neutral, the knees down, lower as much as possible, not higher, lower, and then start extending. Feel your posterior chain, your hamstring, your glutes. We do this again 5 times each side. This was all about core, and these exercises are extremely challenging, as I said, as it involves a lot of stability with mobility. The next exercise, which provides stability to the entire lower limb, is your glutes. Most of the time when we walk, we should try to walk from your hip. Due to weakness in the hip musculature, especially your gluteal region, we stress our knee and we get a lot of aches and pains around the knee, like the patellofemoral pain or the degeneration of the knee joint, which we call it as osteoarthritis. So now, how do we strengthen our glutes? The first exercise would be to lie down sideways. Make sure your knee, your hip is in line. The knee is bent 90 degrees. Elbow needs to be kept right under the shoulder. Okay? What you do is raise your pelvis high, your arms up, and then open up, hip out. It's called a side plank, knee side plank clamshell. You do it 10 times each side. Open up. As you open up, you can feel your glutes getting activated. As you open up, feel your glutes getting activated. 7, 8, 9, 10. And we switch to the other. So we keep your elbow right under the shoulder. The hip and the knee would be in a line. And then we raise our pelvis high. Both the heel would be touching each other. And then activate your glutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The next exercise for the glutes would be lunge hip outs, where you lunge. When we lunge, we have to make sure that the hip and the knee makes a 90 degree angle, the front and the back as well, 90. And then we raise our knee a little higher and then open up, hip out. 5, filling your glutes. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We switch other side. First place, position yourself. Hip and knee bend 90, hip and knee bend 90. Up, stay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The third important exercise for the glutes is to stand single leg. This would work not only on your glutes, your quads as well. So you bend your knee slightly and then balance yourself. Make sure when you stand single leg, the hip, knee and ankle is in a line. You bend and extend. You bend and extend. You bend and extend. You bend, straighten your knee and then extend. As you do this,
your glutes will be, you have to squeeze your glutes each time you try to straighten your knee. Okay? And each time you bring the other leg up, you have to bring your arms ahead. Just like a movement pattern, the way you walk. Extend. 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 Feel your glutes each time you do this. We do this again 10 times each side. Bend. Extend. Feel your glutes. Balance yourself. Glutes. Glutes. Hip, knee and ankle in a line. Glutes. Glutes. Try to squeeze your glutes each time you take your leg, keep your leg straight. These were the 3 exercises for the glutes. Then we move to the next group of exercise which we need to do for the quads. So let's start with the first exercise which would target the VMO, especially the muscle in the medial part of the thigh. Most of the time, the muscle in the lateral part of, which is the vastus lateralis, is more stronger as compared to the VMO. That's why there is alteration in the patellar tracking. Patella has a path to move as you bend and extend your knee. If these muscles are more stronger as compared to this side, then it would always deviate from its path, causing a lot of friction of patella against the femur. That's why each time we bend our knee and extend our knee, we feel a lot of pain around the knee. So how do we strengthen the VMO? Is you sit, keep your knee bend, extend, take it to the other side, bend, extend, bring it back. Bend, extend, take it to the other side, bend, extend, bring it back. Bend, extend, take it to the other side, bend, extend, bring it back. We do it 5 times each side, extend, take it to the other side, bend, extend, bring it back. Bend, extend, bend, extend. As you straighten your knee from this bend position, you can feel your VMO acting, the muscle in the medial side of your thigh. Bend, extend, bend, extend. We do this again. We have to do this 10 times each side. We move to the next, which is wall sit, where you can use the wall, sit back, and hold this position, count of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then submarch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This would really challenge your quads. Remember, we have to hold for 10 seconds and then move the alternate leg closer to the knee to chest 10 times each side. The third exercise would be lunge with rotation. Lunge is a compound exercise where we target both the quads, the hamstring. What we would do is also challenge the core here, obliques especially. So we would again go back to the same position. Remember, we have to bend our hip 90 degrees, knee 90 degrees, up, down. As we stay here, we do the rotation, up, do the rotation, up, do the rotation, up, do the rotation, up, do the rotation, up. Change. We do this again 10 times each side. Stay low, up, down, do the rotation, up, down, do the rotation, up, down, do the rotation, up. We're going to do this 10 times each side. So all the exercises will target your quads and also your core. Move to the next group of exercise, which is your hamstrings. The first would be lying down on your back. Raise your leg high as much as possible. Make sure the knee is extended. And then you have to
Bridge your pelvis high. Pelvis high. High. Make sure your heel should touch the floor. Keep your legs high, pointing the ceiling. Raise it high and down. 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 This will challenge both your hamstring and your glutes. High and down. 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 We do this 10 times each side. Next would be good mornings. Good mornings, you stand, hip width apart, make sure your back is straight, and then you bend forward. Feel your hamstrings, hold, and then squeeze your glutes. Stand. Down, feel your hamstrings, squeeze your glutes. Down, feel your hamstrings, squeeze your glutes. We do this 10 times. As you get better, you can do this single leg. Stand single leg, extend. Try to go down as much as possible. Feel your hamstrings and back. Go down as much as possible. Feel your hamstrings and back. We do this again 10 times each side. The third exercise for your hamstrings are sliders. You can take pieces of cloth like this, just keep it under your heel, lie down on your back, bridge your pelvis high, straighten your legs, make sure the glutes are still off the floor, pull it back, extend, pull it back, extend, pull it back, extend, pull it back, extend, pull it back. As you get better in this, you can do the same exercise, single leg. Bridge, extend, pull it back. Same the other side, bridge, other leg in the air. Extend, pull. So we do this again 10 times each side. First would be to do this exercise both legs. Once you get better, you can always do this single leg. This is all about hamstrings. Then we move the next set of exercise, which is for your calf. For your calf, you need a chair where you can sit. Okay. Then sit straight, not in a slouch position, sit straight. Place your palm on the knee and raise and down. Raise and down. Also you can place your elbows for more resistance. Up and down. Up and down. Up and down, up and down, up and down. The resistance is applied from either from your elbow or from your palm. Up and down, up and down. The other way to do this is to stand, single leg, up and down, up and down, up and down. We do this again 10 times each side. Up and down, up and down. Keep your knees straight. Try to raise your heel as much as possible, highest, and then bring it down. You do this again 10 times each side. So the last group of exercises is for your shoulder. So what do you do for your shoulder? We start with the scapular plank exercises. So where you need to lie down on your back. Keep your elbow under your shoulder. Squeeze your glutes, come up. Once you hold the neutral position, you use your scapula, both comes together and then up. Both comes together and then up. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We do this 10 times.
Scapula retraction and protraction, mainly it works on the to stabilize the scapula because it's an important component to stabilize your shoulder. Then we do pull aparts, shoulder rotations. Make sure the first thing is to pull apart. Try to pull apart and then do rotations. Keep doing rotations. 7, 8, 9, 10. Then change. Pull apart, then do rotations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. Crossovers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Arm raises. 1, 2, 3, 4. It burns. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here we come to the end of the workout where we focused mainly the most important part, which is your core. Then we moved on to again important, the glutes. Most of the time we have an anterior pelvic tilt. That's because of your tight back and your stressed hip flexors. We have to strengthen our core and the gluteal muscles to make sure our pelvis becomes neutral. This position is one of the major causes of backaches. So we have to make sure that we have a neutral pelvis. Anatomically, we are all made in different way, but we have to make sure we utilize our important muscles, which is your core and your glutes. We worked on your hamstrings, we worked on your quads, we worked on your calf, we worked on your shoulder. All these exercises would help you in your daily activities, as you sit, as you walk, as you stand in your daily routine. The important part would be to understand our neutral position, neutral posture, which is to make sure that your foot is neutral. Most of the time, our foot is either pronated or supinated. We have to find the neutral arch of your foot. Dig in your toes. Find the neutral position of your foot. Squeeze your glutes. Get the neutral position of your pelvis. Get the neutral position of your pelvis. If you just activate your core, you'll find the neutral position of your pelvis. You squeeze your glutes and do your activities of your daily life. Now we are also sitting for longer duration in front of the laptop watching TV, where our anterior structures are always working. So how do we open up our posterior chain is simple stretches that would really help you. Include this in your cool down. Start with shoulder, where you keep your elbows closer to the wall, and then try to stretch your lats. Also improves the mobility of the thoracic region. Basically, we are working out on all the muscles of the posterior chain. We are trying to stretch the anterior part as much as possible. Open up. Open up. The next part would be to stretch your pecs. Keep your elbows 90-90, shoulder and the elbow 90 degrees. One leg forward. Feel the stretch. Turn to the other side. Whole count of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then change onto the other side. Keep your elbow and your shoulder bent 90-90. This position, body forward, and then you have to rotate to the other side. Rotate your neck to the other side. Feel the stretch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can stretch your lats. What you can do is hold and try to stretch as much as possible. Try to push your body inward. You'll feel a stretch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just like this. You have to hold and then push your body forward. Feel the stretch here.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10.
This was all about the upper body. Try to open up your thoracic spine so that your breathing is better. If we are in slouch position, there's too much of stress in the thoracic cage and the breathing, our lungs are also restricted. Try to open up your anterior chain. Open up your anterior chain to enable enough breathing to happen. Alright? Then we try to stretch the important muscle that you have worked. Stretch your low back. Try to sit in the child pose position, sit on your heel. Try to outstretch your arms as much as possible. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Slightly go forward. Outstretch your arms. You stretch your mid back here. 2, 3, 4, 5. When you sit back on your heel, outstretch your arms. You stretch your low back. When you come up a little and outstretch your arms, you work on your middle and your upper back. 4, 5. This also stretches your lats. 8, 9 and 10. We would also work on stretching our glutes, where you can lie down, place your ankle on the opposite side knee, forming a 90-degree angle, figure of 4, and then pull the knee closer to your chest. Feel the stretch in your glutes here. And then change to the other side. Keep your ankle. Count of 10. Feel the stretch. And back. Then is your hamstrings. What you do is hold here, extend. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can start by placing your hand behind the knee and then slowly take it up, higher. Try to feel the stretch. 1, 2, try to push your heel. Try to straighten your knee as much as possible. You'll feel a stretch in your hamstrings. To the other side, here, try to straighten as much as possible. 2, 3, 4. The more you sit, the more your hamstrings become tight. And if your hamstrings become tight, you will have a lot of stress in your back. So it's very important to keep stretching your hamstrings as much as possible. See, my hamstrings are also tight. The normal range should be here, straighten. At least 15 degrees to 20 degrees tightness. So you have to make sure the other leg is down on the floor. And try to straighten your knee as you get better. You can place your palm here and then stretch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. You can feel a stretch here. Stretch your calf. Here. Try to place your heel down. Knee straight as much as possible. Feel a stretch in the calf. Hold. Count of 10. And then change on to the other side. Count of 10. And relax. Then we stretch your quads. For stretching the quads, you can lie down sideways. This would include both your quads and your hip flexors. You hold the ankle and you can place the other ankle on the knee and try to stretch. As you do this, you can bend your knee closer to your glutes. And as you do this, you can feel a stretch in your quads, your hip flexors. Change it to the other side. Lie down, bend, hold the ankle, keep the other ankle, and then try to feel the stretch. Try to get this heel closer to the glutes. Stretching your quads and your hip flexors. Thank you so much. We are done with today's workout. I hope all the exercises were educational, and as you start doing this, you would find a lot of benefit in your activities of your daily lifestyle. Thank you.